Penn State fans, it's me, Bob, Flounders. You probably remember me. It's been a while since I had a chance to chat with you guys here on the Blue White Breakdown. It's podcast time. It is Wednesday, a little before 3 p.m. Doing this from my house in Harrisburg, PA. Thrilled to report that it's not minus 17 today. I think it's 11. And it felt like it was about 41, so I'm happy for that. I know the bad stuff's coming. Hope you guys are staying safe, but that's not the reason why I'm talking to you guys. I know you heard from Max Ralph and Johnny McGonigal earlier in the week. Big week for Penn State. The Matt Campbell era is officially underway. Introductory news conference was Monday up at State College. Very impressive guy. I know it's just a press conference. I know we're just getting started, but sometimes if you're around long enough, you can tell when somebody is sincere. He was very emotional, and when I say emotional, it was probably, if you combined a little bit of James Franklin early in his Penn State career with like Dick Vermeil when he coached the Rams and the Eagles, that guy was emotional. If you combine those two, that was kind of what Matt Campbell was on Monday. But he was just very appreciative, I think, to be here. 10 really great seasons at Iowa State. Did more with less. I think we all know that. Also, have to say, maybe 10 days ago, it kind of looked like it was not going to be Matt Campbell. But I think they might have got it right anyway. That Pat Kraft was certainly looking at more than one guy. It took 54 days. There's no need to delve into that. I wanted to get to a couple of things here. Just a reminder, thank you for listening and watching all of our podcasts and videos. Johnny and Max, I think, are going live Thursday at noon, so make sure you check that out. But I wanted to get to a couple of things. It's the Christmas season, but really it's the season of Penn State football's transformation. The roster, they have a bowl game to play in New York City, the Pinstripe Bowl against Dabo Sweeney and those Clemson Tigers. December 27th, noon kick, Yankee Stadium. I was at the first Penn State Pinstripe Bowl, 2014, overtime, BC. It was like 70 degrees out. It was crazy. Looking forward to that. I don't think we're going to get 60-degree weather. But what I wanted to get to was already, I don't want to get too specific because after I record this, there could be some new news. But I just wanted to touch on a couple of developments in and around the Penn State program, whether it's regard to coaches leaving or him kind of finalizing a staff. There's been one opt out for the bowl game. That's Zane Durant. Wanted to get to that, but before I get to that, I just want to say when we talk about Matt, a couple of us veteran Penn State beat guys and girls got him for about 30 minutes after his introductory press conference for a conversation, and he was really, really fascinating to listen to. I'm going to have a lot of that coming out on PennLive in the next, week or so. Excited to share that with you. But, one of the two things I want to see from Matt, I'm hoping to see from Matt, I think we'll see from Matt, is in-game adjustments, right? I know it's December, but, that was something that for all the good that James Franklin did at Penn State, I thought that was an issue for Penn State, especially in big games. Curious to see how Matt handles that stuff, whether it's timeouts or the middle eight, as James likes to say. The other thing, though, is he alluded to it when he was at Iowa State. He was talking about how he got his guys to be able to play with anyone in the Big 12. And, that Iowa State is just not a team that's going to kill it recruiting wise or even in the transfer portal. And he talked about, what he likes to do, and the first thing he always tries to do is he makes sure whoever is healthy, he's going to get his best guys, his best skill guys involved. He's going to get his best defensive players in position to make plays. And it sounds easy, but I don't think everyone does it. I bring that up because I don't think James Franklin did it in 2024. And it's like he tried to make too many people happy early in the season, and it probably cost him his job. Katron Allen, Terry Smith, the interim head coach, first thing he does, Katron's the guy. We're going to feed him. We're going to get better at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to get back to do what we do best. And Katron Allen, they fed him, and boy, he took off. finished with more than 1,300 yards. Yeah, I think Nick had more carries than Katron halfway through the season, and that just wasn't right. Nick's a good player. Katron is a special back, and there's a reason why he was the all-time he is the all-time leading rusher at Penn State. But my point is, when you have a team like this, when you have some talent, a lot of these guys are going to get drafted. You got to get your best guys the ball. They got to be featured. Who cares if people are unhappy? You're trying to win games. You said at the beginning of the year this was your most complete team. You got to feed your best players. I don't think James did that. I think Matt will do that. He talked about doing that at Iowa State when he had guys banged up. He played to his strengths. I think it's an underrated quality. I think a lot of coaches talk about it. I don't think a lot of coaches really do it. I think this guy sounds like he's going to do it, and I think that's a great sign for Penn State. But I wanted to touch on that. It still burns me, that UCLA game that Penn State lost. Down 27-7 early. They fight back. They get the ball back deep in UCLA territory with a couple minutes to go. A touchdown ties it. Maybe they can win it in overtime. And the drive fizzles, but Katron Allen is never on the field. It's Nick Singleton. They're throwing the ball. I thought right then and there that might have been it for James. I think it was a huge mistake. Hopefully he learns from that at Virginia Tech. All right, so Matt Campbell, let's just talk a little bit about him and what he needs to do. He prioritized Terry Smith. Good for him. I think we talked about it on prior Blue-White Breakdowns. Make him an offer he can't refuse. You need this guy for so many reasons. For the job he did as interim head coach against a really difficult schedule, to get them to a bowl game, winning the last 3 games, almost beat Indiana. They played so hard for him. They advocated for him. You could tell he won the locker room. They wanted to play for him. It was important to keep Terry, not only for his work as a quarterbacks coach, but he's a leader of men. And I think that in another scenario, I think Terry Smith, could be a head coach somewhere. I really do. I'm not sure where. But he commands respect. He demanded respect from Penn State's players. They responded, and they benefited from it. That was an important get. I'm curious to see. I think Penn State and Matt want to keep a couple other guys from the Penn State staff that kind of closed out the 2025 regular season. Not all of them, and I don't want to date this podcast, but I'm curious to see if there's a couple more Penn State coaches that stay on this staff. But one coach that's not going to be on the staff is Ty Howle. Earlier this week, he's going to be the OC for James at Virginia Tech. I think it's a pretty big loss, number one. I think he's an underrated guy, very understated, but he's really good at his job. Very good recruiter with what he does with the tight end room. And he didn't even play tight end. But if you remember, James turned to him late in 2023 to be the co-OC with Jaywan Sider after he parted. He moved on from Mike Yursich. I think James thinks very highly of him. I think Penn State thought very highly of him. And I think if Penn State had their choice, I think he would be on Matt Campbell's staff. He's at Virginia Tech, former Penn State player, former Penn State captain. You might be saying, well, if you're a Penn State guy, why are you leaving? Well, it's first of all, congrats to Ty. He has aspirations too. It's kind of a promotion. I don't think he was going to be the OC anywhere else. It's a great opportunity for him, and he did a lot of good things at Penn State in a short time. James is the guy that took a chance on him, and I can respect the loyalty. I think it's a big loss for Penn State. Danny O'Brien's no longer going to be the quarterback's coach. I don't think that's a big surprise, or I don't think it's a big loss. I enjoyed talking with Danny, but he was a Franklin guy. Stan Drayton, as we talk about this, it looks like he might be headed to an SEC school. He's kind of a gypsy. Like, he's coached running backs a long time, but if you look at his resume, he's been at like 4,800 places. So this is kind of how it goes. He coaches players hard, then he moves on. His track record, I think, speaks for itself. I think Katron was better for being coached by Stan, but no matter what happens, I'd be surprised if he is on the Penn State staff. And just I wanted to talk a little bit about Zane Durant, who is not going to play in the bowl game. He's gonna concentrate on getting ready for the NFL draft. He has accepted a Senior Bowl invite. I believe there's going to be other Penn State Nittany Lions who accept Senior Bowl invites. That game's late in January, and I think even though they finished strong, I think some Penn State players who are highly regarded still have some things to prove because there's no getting around that play early in the season where they looked listless. They didn't look very good. The defense was not cohesive. They played better down the stretch, but you look at the Rutgers game, and Rutgers had them in trouble. Rutgers had them in trouble. So I do think some players are going to play in that game. Curious to see about that. But Zane, good luck to him. 3-year impact player, I think, at defensive tackle for Penn State. Didn't have the year I think he thought he was going to have, especially after he had a great year, I thought, last year. But having said that, he had some better defensive tackles around him to take some of the pressure off him. And he also had Denai Dennis Sutton on one side and Abdul Carter on the other. So he was going to get single blocked, and I don't think that was the case often this year. So congrats to him. I'm curious to see who else is going to opt out of this game because there's going to be some more opt-outs. I thought when Zane started it, there would be a couple more. I still think there'll be a couple more, certainly. Clemson and Dabo already have had a couple of very prominent guys opt out. It could be a very different-looking game in late December. Clemson's already favored by a field goal, I think, but I don't think Penn State fans are really too concerned about that. I think a lot of Penn State fans, if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut area, you're going to want to go to that game unless it's 50 below. So I'm sure you're looking forward to that. Much more to get to this week as we wrap up this Blue-White podcast. I wanted to just go solo because I wasn't going to get a chance to talk to you guys on Thursday. I did not get a chance to talk to you guys on Monday after the press conferences, but make sure you are ready for Max and Johnny to go live on Thursday. Over the weekend, Johnny McGonigal and I have, it's Heisman Trophy ceremony weekend. The winner's going to be announced on Saturday. Johnny and I both have votes. We're not allowed to reveal who we voted for, who our top 3 was each, but we're allowed to, after the official announcement is made, look for our thoughts on who the best players in the country were and who should be the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm not sure. Here's spoiler alert. I'm not sure Johnny and I voted. Johnny and I did not vote for the winner. I'll just say that. But be on the lookout for that. That's going to pretty much do it for this shorter Blue-White Breakdown podcast. I just wanted to make sure I had a chance to talk to you guys. We're about 13 minutes in. 13 is an unlucky number. I think I just mushed myself for the weekend. I'm going to have to try and talk 14 minutes because I hate 13. But just remember, had a chance to talk to Matt Campbell after his introductory press conference. And it wasn't just me. It was about a dozen veteran beat people, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have some stuff. He was really good on that, talking about influences in his life, what he believes in, how he's going to shape the roster, all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that at PennLive. And I think that's going to do it. I don't know if you guys heard in the background here at my house, there's some gurgling and some glug, glug, glugging. I'm not having a great sink day in terms of plumbing. Hopefully it's minor, but that thing has not stopped barking. So if you heard any strange sounds, that's just me probably more than likely getting ready to call a plumber in about 30 seconds after I sign off from this podcast. It was good talking to you guys. Hopefully I'll have a chance to talk to you early next week, but that's it for this special edition in the Blue-White Breakdown. Johnny and Max going at noon on Thursday. And that's all.